Today we are going to work on scale drawings. This is the drawing of the inside of an art museum. And you'll notice that the instructions say to use a ruler to measure. That will be really important in today's work, so make sure that you do have a ruler. The other important thing to notice about this first slide is that the instructions give us the key. The key says that every inch on the drawing is going to equal 20 feet in real life. So if I measured one of these walls and wanted to know what it was like in real life, I'd have to multiply whatever I get by 20. We're going to do that next with the Impressionism art room. Question number 1 says, what is the actual length of the Impressionism art room? Now, it doesn't mean what's the length on the drawing. It means the actual length. What is the actual length in real life of that room? So when I got a straight edge, and I actually used my protractor because it has a ruler on the bottom, it measured from 0 over here all the way to 1.75 right here. So we would call that 1 3/4. We've got 1 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. I changed it to the decimal 1.75. You can keep it as a fraction if you'd like. But in order to know what that measurement is of that wall in real life, we have to take our measurement and multiply that by 20, because it's 1 inch to every 20 feet. Now when we do that, we get the answer that the length of the Impressionism art room is 35 feet. Make sure to label your measurements, very important in this assignment. So that's the answer to number 1. What's the actual length of the Impressionism art room? 35 feet. Question 2 says, find the actual dimensions of the Baroque art room. And I have measured for us 2 1/8 and 1 1/4. Now if we want to turn that into a decimal, we have to take the top number and divide it by the bottom number. 1 divided by 8 in this case. So if we want to use the decimal for our calculators, that would be 2.125. And do you remember what we have to multiply by? The scale, the key that they gave us was that every inch is worth 20 feet. So that's what our problem would look like. 2 125 thousandths times 20 feet. When you do that, you find the length of the Baroque art room is 42.5 or 42.5 feet. Now in this question, they want to know both dimensions. So then when we look at the side, it's 1 1/4. And most of us have that memorized for the decimal equivalent, which would be 1.25. So in order to find what that actual measurement is, we would take 1.25 times 20. And when you do that on your calculator, you'll find that that is 25 feet. So we have now found the dimensions of the Baroque art room. Question number 3 asks us to find the scale factor for this blueprint. Now that's different than the key. Remember that the key was 1 inch equals 20 feet. The difference between key and scale factor is that scale factor has to have the same label. So what we really want to know is what is 1 inch as equal to how many inches. Now, in order to turn 20 feet into inches, we have to remember that there's 12 inches in every foot. So 20 times 12 would give us 240 inches. So our scale factor for this blueprint is 1 to 240. And it's written like a ratio, 1 to 240. So that's questions 1, 2, 3 on scale drawings. I hope this work helps you also finish 4 through 9 on the page 113. And then more scale drawing work on page 114 and 115.